Hi YouTube, welcome back to the Arc Studio. My name's Noah and thank you for joining me for this 1 hour Hatha Yoga class for beginners. If you're new to this channel or if you've never done yoga before, don't worry, we're going to take it nice and easy all the way from the beginning through to the end, and I'll be providing you with various modifications to make all of the different positions we're going to be doing a little bit easier, a little bit more difficult, depending on your ability level. For today's session, we are going to be using a couple of bricks, a block or other kind of cushion or pad, whatever you've got to hand if you need one. And later on, towards the end of the session, we're going to have a go at doing a shoulder stand. If you've never done one of those before, you might want something nice and padded to sort of prop yourself up against. I'm going to be using this Pilates arc barrel, but if you've just got a sofa cushion or the edge of a sofa or a wall or whatever else you've got just to hold your back up, that'll help you out a little bit. There's not any music playing in the background of this video, but if you want some music to listen along to, have a look in the description below and you'll find a link to my Spotify playlist. You can play that in the background as you're watching the video. If you've got everything ready and you're ready to get started, let's get on the mat. So just bring yourselves down to a nice comfortable position, starting today's session in Shavasana, corpse pose. We're going to lie on the mat, nice and long and thin, and we're just going to relax our arms and feet out towards the side. And feel free to fidget around a little bit, find a position that feels comfortable. You might want to wiggle your shoulders around a little. Sometimes your shoulder blades can be a bit tight and pushing down into the mat unevenly. And we're just going to start today's session with a little bit of a body scan. So starting from the toes, just actively look from any tension all the way down from the feet, moving up through the calves, relaxing all the muscles up through the thighs and in the hips, relaxing the abdomen and the lower back, the chest and the shoulders and the upper back. And just letting your fingers and your hands and your arms relax down onto the floor. And just let your head find a nice natural position where you can lie comfortably. So that at this point there shouldn't be any tension in the body at all. And we're going to take a nice deep inhale in through the nose. And out. And as we're breathing in, I want you to really focus on relaxing the abdomen. So we're not just breathing into the chest, but we're using the whole upper body to draw air all the way in. And as you're lying here breathing, just start to think about what you've had going on in your day so far, what you've got going on ahead. And then as each one of those thoughts comes into your mind, just set it aside. And you want to leave yourself here and in the moment. And we're going to start our supine mobilization. So as you're lying on the floor, we're going to inhale and we're just going to lift the arms up, stretching up nice and long and thin above the head. And as you exhale, let the hands drift all the way down in a nice tall arc up above the body. Inhale, arms go up. Exhale, hands come all the way down towards the hips. So try and move your arms with the breathing, so that at no point your breathing stalls. Let the breath flow in and out and just let the arms flow with the breathing. And we're not pausing at all, we're not holding the breath. As soon as you fully exhale, start to inhale and bring the arms up above the head. And the goal, if you can, is to get your shoulders completely relaxed onto the floor with the arms up above. But just listen to your body and go as far as feels comfortable. We're only warming up. And then on your next exhale, you're going to bring the right knee in towards the chest. give yourself a little hug and just start moving the foot around. Flexing and pointing the toe, drawing little circles. And then on your next inhale, we're going to reach up and over. And then exhale, bring the left knee in. And again, drawing some little circles, flexing and pointing the foot. Just try and locate any tension that you've got in your calves, and in your ankles, in your foot, and your toes. And just stretch it off and work it out. And then on your next inhale, reaching up. And then as we exhale, we're going to bring the right leg in, holding behind the thigh, pointing the toe up towards the sky. And again, just start flexing and pointing the foot. Got a little bit of tension down the front of my shin here. So I'm just going to focus on evening that out, getting everything feeling nice and loose and comfortable. And then on your next inhale, release, stretch it out. And then exhale, left leg comes up. Again, flexing and pointing the foot. And again, I've got a little bit of tension down the front of the shin on this leg. Circling the foot round if you want. And then inhale, stretch it out again. And now as we exhale, we're going to bring both knees in to Appanasana. Little hug. And just start moving from side to side, forwards and backwards. Looking for any tension going through the back and the spine. Do a little figure of 8 with the knees maybe. And we're just going to start moving from side to side, a little bit more and a little bit more, until you naturally fall from one side or the other. Although obviously I'm going to fall this way so you can see me. But whatever side you fall on is good for you. Just take a couple of breaths in this position and try and feel the expansion of the back towards the empty space behind you. And then whenever you're ready, just come up to a seated position. So we're going to find a seated position that feels comfortable for you, whatever that may be. If you need a block to prop yourself up and keep your back nice and tall, grab that now. We're going to bring our arms out to the side, and we're going to take a nice deep inhale in, lifting up and reaching over. And I want you to imagine that you're trapped between two panes of glass, so get this elbow nice and high up into the air, so we're not reaching across and twisting the body, we're opening up the side of the body. And then we're going to inhale and come up, exhale, return to the center. And over onto the other side, up and over. Again, keeping this elbow nice and high, but letting the weight of the hand reach the body over to the side. And we're just going as far as feels comfortable. And inhale up, exhale over. And we're going to reach one hand out in front and one hand behind. We're going to inhale and sit tall, and exhale. Just look around as far as you can without any undue stress on the neck. Opening up the chest, lifting the spine nice and tall, and keep the hips connected to the ground. So we're not coming up away from the mat. And inhale, nice and tall, exhale, return to the center, swap it over, lift it up, and rotate. And lift to the center. Take a nice deep inhale and sit tall, and then as we exhale, we're going to roll down. Bring the crown of the head down towards the ground. And if you're doing this session early in the morning, you'll probably find there's lots and lots of tension all the way down the spine and through the neck. So don't push it, just breathe. And as you exhale, try and come a little bit lower. So we're just relaxing into the position. And you might find that because our legs are crossed one way or the other, you're lifting slightly, but don't worry, we're going to swap our feet over in a little bit. And then we're just going to inhale and slowly come back up. And then take another inhale as we reach back, lifting the chest up and open. And try and be careful not to get too much tension through the biceps here, so don't fully straighten out the arms and push the elbows forwards. Keep a little bend in them. If you get any tension through the back of the shoulder and the lats, just wiggle the arms around. Get nice and comfortable. And then we're just going to bring it back towards the center, sitting nice and tall. And we're going to swap our feet over. We're going to go through that sequence again a little deeper. So inhale and exhale over, reaching those fingertips down, but keeping that elbow nice and high. Bring the elbow back so that we're still wedged in that single plane between two panes of glass. And then up and over and up and over. Elbow nice and high, weight of the hand pulling down. Feel the stretch down through the lats and through the ribs. And up and over. Now reach all the way around using the knee to assist if you want. And we're just going to see if we can get a little bit further around this time, but again, don't push it. Just listening to your body going as far as feels comfortable for you right now. And lift, and turn to the center, and inhale and lift, and bring it around. As I mentioned before, we're all going to be doing this at different times of the day. I've just been downstairs in the gym exercising, so I'm a little bit more mobile and warm than you might be. And lift to the center, inhale, and roll forwards. So if you see me doing anything and you think, I don't feel ready for that at this time of the day, that's absolutely fine. Just take it at your own pace. And roll back up. Reach behind, open the chest, look up towards the sky, and if you feel comfortable and it doesn't hurt your lower back, you can lift up the hips and really focus on extending the neck, stretching the spine out nice and long. Again, keep a little micro bend in the elbows, otherwise you can pinch the soft tissue at the back of the elbows, just at the base of the tricep. Called your olecranon versa. Fun fact for the day. And lower it down, and turn back to the middle. We're going to come onto an all fours position now for a cat-cow. So we're going to put our hands underneath our shoulders, shoulders width apart, and our knees underneath our hips, hips distant apart. And we're going to untuck the toes, inhale, lifting the back up, exhale, lowering the chest and the abdomen down, lifting the tailbone and the head. And lift the back, inhale, and lower, exhale. And sometimes, when I see people doing a cat-cow, they have a tendency to shrug their shoulders up, especially as they come down into the cow position. So bring the shoulders down and lift the head away. Trying to think you're lengthening the spine into a big long banana. And try and flow with the breath as we do this sequence. So inhale all the way up, and then exhale all the way down. Get a nice flow. last time to a cat, down into a cow, tuck the toes, and then sit back. And we're going to come into an extended child's pose. And then inhale up into a cow, untucking the toes, then retucking, and up into a little quarter dog. So just bring the knees kind of 3 to 6 inches up off the ground. And you can push back a bit, and then we're going to come down, untuck the toes, into a cow, retuck the toes, half dog. So we're coming about 1 foot to 1.5 foot off the mat now. Bring the chest back a little further, lifting the tailbone high, and then down, untuck the toes into a cow, reaching the head and the tail, retuck the toes, full downward dog, pushing all the way up as far as you can. And then from here, we'll just take a couple of breaths, move the feet around, move the hips around. If you want, you can lift 1 foot up into the air and just kick it nice and high. And then when you're ready, we're just going to step the hands up towards the top of the mat. Rolling up through the spine into Tadasana, mountain pose. From here, we're going to go straight into our sun salutations. We're going to start really nice and slow, just focusing on the form of the postures, and then we'll start to speed up towards the end. Also, apologies for my hair being a bit distractingly floppy, but I'm too lazy to put anything in it today. So you just have to put up with me messing around with it. Okay, so from Tadasana, we're going to reach up, and then we're going to circle back down. Stepping back with the right foot, knee down, untuck the toes, lift the chest, look forwards, retuck the toes, plank, knees, chin, chest down to the mat, keep it sexy, untuck the toes, roll the hips, lift the chest, lower the shoulders, into cobra, tuck the toes, and now if you can, lift up all the way into downward dog. If that's hard for you, push back towards child's pose and then lift. Get you a little bit more strength through the core. And then we're going to step forwards with the right foot, using the hand to assist if we need, lifting the chest. Step forwards, and then reaching up, overhead, bring the hands together. Other side, up, circling the hands around, left foot comes back now, untucking the toes, lifting the chest and the head. Step back into a plank, knees, chin, chest to the ground, into Ashtanga Namaskar, keeping the hips nice and high, untuck the toes, roll through the body like a Mexican wave, lifting the chest, tuck the toes, push back, step forwards with the left foot, using the hand if necessary, reach up, step together, forward fold, roll up through the body, sweeping the arms up overhead, and then hands together. A little bit faster now. Inhale, exhale, inhale, hold the breath. I'm cheating because I'm talking. Exhale down. Inhale as we roll and lift into cobra. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, step forwards with the right foot. Exhale, step together. Inhale, roll up. Exhale, hands down. And inhale. Exhale. Inhale, left foot. Hold the breath. Exhale. Lower. Inhale, roll. Exhale, down dog. Inhale. Lift. Roll up. And exhale, hands together. Once more on each side, and I'll do it in Sanskrit this time for our international watchers who don't speak English. Hasta Uttanasana, Uttanasana Anandasana, Ashwasanchalanasana, Kumbhakasana, Ashtanga Namaskar, Bhujangasana, Ardha Mukha Svanasana, Ashwasanchalanasana, Uttanasana, Hasta Uttanasana, and then bring the hands together. Once more on the other side. Hasta Uttanasana, Uttanasana, Ashwasanchalanasana, Kumbhakasana, Ashtanga Namaskar, Bhujangasana, Ardha Mukha Svanasana, Ashwasanchalanasana, Uttanasana, Hasta Uttanasana, and bring the hands together. So for our first posture of the day, we are going to be doing Warrior 1, Virabhadrasana 1. So I just want you to turn so that you've got the full length of the mat, and we'll take the feet to about 2 to 3 shoulders widths. We're going to turn the hips over to the right hand side, turning the rear foot to about 45 degrees and rotating the hips to face down the mat. And then we're going to inhale and we're going to reach up, and we want our fingertips to be probably just in front of our head. And if it's comfortable on your neck, you can just look up in between your hands. Keep the core nice and strong, so we're not letting the stomach stick out too much. And just breathe in this position, keeping the shoulders down out of the ears. Nice deep breaths, expanding through the chest. If you want, you can have a little micro bend in that rear leg, but try and keep it fairly straight. If it is uncomfortable on your neck, obviously you can look forwards. And try and keep the back nice and straight during this position. And then we're just going to lower the arms down, lift and rotate. We're going to come all the way around. Again, the rear foot is at 45 degrees, the hips facing down the mat. And then we're going to inhale, reaching the back nice and tall, so that the crown of the head is reaching up towards the sky. Imagine you're holding a big beach ball, and you're looking up towards it. Deep breaths, lowering the shoulders out of the ears, nice strong back. Maintain your balance, and then lower the arms down. Lift, and as we switch over to the other side, we're just going to increase the width of our stance a little. Bring it all the way over. This rear foot now can come off at 90 degrees. If you can get your hips the whole way around. If you're struggling, bring the foot to 45 and then you can bring it further. And then we're going to inhale and lift. And if you can, now take that beach ball and lift it behind your head. Give it a little bit of a curve up through the back. So we're using the whole anterior chain of the body to maintain strength. Again, if this is uncomfortable in the neck, you can just look forwards. But if it works for you, look up towards the sky. And then lower the arms down. Lift and rotate over to the other side. Again, if you can get this rear foot to 90 degrees and turn the hips around, do so. Otherwise, you can have it at 45. Nice long stance. Inhale. Bring the hands just behind the head, shifting the weight back. Also, if this is uncomfortable on your lower back, stay in that lifted position. Reaching backwards, nice deep breaths. Keep the shoulders out of the ears, length through the neck so that we're not just letting the head relax back, we're actively supporting the head. And then lower the arms down and come back towards the center. Now we're going to do a wide-legged forward fold, Prasarita Padottanasana. So from this position, we're going to reach the arms up and then exhale, rolling down through the body until our hands reach the ground. If you're struggling to make contact, then this is a good time to grab hold of your blocks. In an ideal world, you want to be able to place your hands flat on the ground. If you can't do that, use something just to prop yourself up so that you can get a good firm base of support. We're allowing the head to hang nice and heavy in this position. So this isn't like a chair where we're keeping a flat back. We're lowering all the way down as far as we can. So use the weight of the body to draw yourself down, and as you inhale, we're expanding through the back, creating space underneath us. You should be getting a nice stretch down the back of the legs here. If it feels uncomfortable in the knees, again, a little micro bend just to take pressure off. And then we're going to inhale nice and deep and slowly roll back up. Lift up towards the sky. Take a full breath in this position. And then one more inhale. And as we exhale, we're going to roll back down. Hands to the floor. If you can, bring the feet a little wider. Bring the hands a little lower. If you're super bendy, you can come all the way down onto your elbows, but I can't do that, so I don't expect you to. Nice deep breaths, breathing all the way down into the deepest lobes of the lungs. Get as much air as you can. And then from this position, we're going to walk our feet in towards our hands so that we're in Uttanasana, forward fold. And once the feet are together, we're going to inhale and roll up. Bring the arms up overhead and then down into Tadasana, mountain pose. And just take a nice breath in this position to reset yourself. From Tadasana, we're going to make our way down into a seated position. So we're in Dandasana, staff pose. We're not going to hold this for very long, so don't worry too much about the blocks, unless you have a really tight lower back. We're going to come into a revolved head to knee, Parivrtta Jansinasana, probably. We're going to rotate the hips around so they're slightly shifted off. We're going to bring the right foot in towards the left thigh. So our body is facing off to the side of the mat. We're going to place the supporting hand on the leg and then inhale, exhale and reach over. So if you do have a very tight lower back, you might find it beneficial to have a cushion underneath you. If you're getting any pain in the back of the knee, again, a little micro bend just to lift the knee up and away. Try and get this elbow nice and high, so we're not reaching down and across. We're lifting the body, so we're bending fully sideways, and we're not corkscrewing the spine at all. So as you breathe, breathe into the side of the body to expand the ribs outwards. And then once you've had enough of that one, inhale and come up. And then we're just going to swap it over. So we've got the other foot down by the other leg, supporting hand on the leg, inhale, exhale over to the side. So making use of the weight of that arm to lower ourselves down towards the foot as far as we can go while maintaining that single plane of motion. So we're not twisting or rotating the spine at all, we're just folding it to the side. Obviously the goal here is to get your head all the way down towards your knee, but we're just doing the prep, so don't worry too much about that now, just going as far as feels comfortable. And inhale up, exhale down, swap it around, bring that first foot back in towards the thigh, reaching down a little further, sitting a little taller, inhale, exhale, up and over. And if you've ever done archery, I want you to imagine you're pulling back on a bow, getting that elbow nice and high. Coming as far down as we can. Nice deep breaths into the side of the body. And then inhale, exhale, swap it over. One foot out, one foot in, reaching down the leg. Inhale, exhale. Lifting the elbow nice and high, length through the neck, so we're not just letting the head flop down, we're reaching the crown of the head up and away towards our hand. And then inhale, exhale, come out of it. And from here, we're going to bring the feet in underneath us. And we're going to do a half Lord of the Fishes. Can't remember the Sanskrit for this one, so I won't try. We are going to bring our hips over to one side, and then we're going to bring this foot across and in front of the bent leg, and then we're just going to rotate around. We're going to hug this knee in towards us. So when we're in this position, I want you to focus on trying to get both hips connected with the mat. So we're not lifting up and away, we're sitting down. And importantly, we're sitting nice and tall. So try and avoid sagging down in towards your hip. Keep the chest nice and open and reach the crown of the head up towards the sky. And then just release that there. Bring the feet together. And we're just going to come up and over. And then bring the other foot round. Hug this knee in. And look towards my beautiful logo. So again, we're trying to keep those hips connected to the mat. Try and avoid letting it peel up and away. That makes it easier. But like easy in a cheating way, not easy in a proper modification way. And reach the crown of the head up. Try and keep the lower back as neutral as you can. And then release. And we're going to switch it back over. So bring the first foot in front of the first leg. And this time we're going to try and bring the elbow around on the inside of the knee. And we're going to try and rotate the body as far around as we can. So the whole spine is now corkscrewing up from the root to the crown. And we're just tracing that spine with our neck, so we're not reaching the head round uncomfortably far. We're just allowing that natural curve that's formed up through the spine to translate up through the neck into the head. And you'll feel a little bit of constriction down in the abdomen here. Just try and breathe down deep into that. this knee back round, switching it back over, foot to the outside of the knee, elbow to the inside of the knee, and then reach around. Again, looking as far around as feels comfortable, don't over push it. And incidentally, you don't have to do anything fancy with this hand. I sort of just let it rest wherever it falls. Nice deep breaths down into the abdomen, expanding the chest, keeping the shoulders low, the chest open, and the crown of the head reaching up towards the sky. And release. Come all the way back into a kneeling position, and then we're going to come up onto the knees, reaching the spine up nice and tall. Bring them to the full width of the mat with the toes together for our lion. We're going to bring the hands out in front, and then we're going to sit back towards our heels, lifting the tail and the head, and bring the shoulders down out to the ears. And if you feel comfortable to do so, you can close your eyes. So you're trying to extend the spine here, creating that banana shape, keeping the tailbone nice and lifted. And I want you to focus on pressing down through the fingertips. So we're quite actively holding this position up through the arms. You should feel it through the back. And then release down onto the heels, lowering the chest down towards the floor. And bring the hands down towards the side into a child's pose. If this feels uncomfortable, you can bring the arms to 90 degrees like so. Takes a bit of pressure off the chest. Breathe nice and deep. And then we're going to push backwards, up. And this time, if you have the flexibility to do so, you're going to turn your hands around so the palms are facing forwards. And then roll your fingertips down, come back up, and then sit back. Again, extending the tail and the head. Almost imagine that someone's trickling cold water down your spine. You're shrinking away from it because it's chilly and uncomfortable. So yeah, we're not sitting back onto the heels here. We're lifting the tail. If you have the flexibility to come all the way back down towards your heels, that's fine. But the key thing is to roll that pelvis forwards and roll the head back without just cranking back on the head. We're lengthening the neck rather than just bending it backwards. And then come back to take the pressure off the wrists. And again, lower it down into child's pose, relaxing on the ground. Nice deep breaths. Try and really relax the hips. And then just bring the arms back. Lift yourself back up. Bring the knees together. Come all the way up onto the knees. We're going to do a camel, and we're going to start by just bringing the back to the hands towards the lower back, opening out the chest, and bring the elbows wide. So we're not flexing the wrists and letting the elbows come forwards. Reach the elbows nice and wide, and we're just going to extend the back as far as we can to look up towards the sky. And it's really important that you think about length up through the spine here, rather than just folding backwards. Keeping the chest open and keep engaging through the neck to support the head. Keep these elbows nice and wide. If this is uncomfortable on the wrists or on the chest, you can also hold on the glutes, which might give you a little bit more support. And then just sit back onto the heels, nice and slow. And extend the arms out in front, extended child's pose. Resting the head down onto the mat. And then just slowly lift it back up. So for the full camel, if you feel confident to do it and it doesn't hurt your back, we're going to get back into this position. We're going to reach back and place our palms onto our heels. If you are not that flexible, you have your bricks available. If you have bricks, you can put your hands on those. Do not get into this position if you don't feel confident to do so. Just go back into the prep position as we were just in, either with the flat of the hands on the back or support on the glutes. If you can do it, however, lower yourself back and then just reach backwards, placing one hand on one heel, one hand on the other, and then open up the chest and reach up towards the sky. Again, try and avoid fully extending the elbows, because you might just pinch that acronym bursa. Keep opening and extending. If you want, you can have a little gentle rock forwards and backwards. Nice deep breaths. And then just release it back. Sitting down onto the heels. And reaching the arms forwards. Down into a child pose. And we're going to stay in this position for a good sort of 3 to 5 breaths. So there's no rush. Nice deep breathing all the way down to the deepest lobes of the lungs. And then we're going to lift ourselves backwards. So for our last posture, as I mentioned at the beginning, we're going to do a shoulder stand. I'm going to be making use of this arc barrel because I've got it. But obviously you don't need one of these. You can do this up against a sofa or whatever else you have available. Essentially it's just there to support the hips. So then it becomes very easy to just lift the knees up and come up into a shoulder stand, like so. So if you need to pause the video now to kind of sort your life out and figure out how you're going to arrange yourselves, feel free to do so. So we're going to bring the hands down onto the ground, out of the way, and then we're just going to curl the knees in towards the chest. This then allows us to press through the elbows and support the lower back. And then we're just going to bring the feet up towards the sky. So obviously having something here makes life very, very easy for doing a shoulder stand, because it does most of the work for us. So we're just getting the inversion out of this without having to put too much work into holding the position. And one of the main benefits is it means that your chin doesn't get squished down into your chest and give you some neck rolls. I mean, if you live alone, it doesn't matter because no one can see. But you look silly enough doing yoga half the time anyway, so you don't want to add neck rolls to that. And then we're just going to bend the knees down, in towards the chest. Bring the hands out to the side. And then just lower all the way down. And since I've got this arc barrel here, I'm just going to relax my legs over the top of it into a kind of Shavasana type position with a little bit of a bridge going on. So freestyle it. Do what feels good. You've got like a big cushion thing that you've been using to prop yourself up, like a bolster. That's great, you can do the same. Maybe you've got one of those big Swiss balls, I don't know. Otherwise, just do a Shavasana on the floor. So for the full pose, if this is comfy and this is what you want to do, stick with it. We're just going to go straight back up. If you would like to do a full shoulder stand, then join in, because that's what I'm going to do. So we're going to have our hands down on the ground so that we can push through them, and then we're just going to lift the knees up, bring the feet over the head and the knees towards the head, and we can take our hands, place them against the lower back, and then once you've sort of got that triangle of support, no one wants to see my top coming down. Maybe you do, I don't know. Might get me some more views. And we're just going to extend the legs up towards the sky. So we're pushing actively through the lower back here, and we're keeping the shoulders nice and open. Because if you kind of shrug down into it, then your chin will disappear into your neck and you won't be able to breathe properly. And yoga is about 90% breathing, so that will be no good. Just keep on reaching, pressing into the back, and challenge yourself. Let your feet drift up past your center of gravity, so your arms have to do a bit more if it feels comfortable. Bring them down a bit if you want. Get the hamstrings doing a bit more. Just wave your legs around. And then just lower the knees down towards the head. And then once you've kind of caught yourself, bring the hands down. And then nice and slowly, under control, just lay your spine down on the mat and place the feet down. And that places us perfectly, well, other than the fact that I'm too far down the mat, so just get back up here. To come into Shavasana for our final relaxation. So just start breathing nice and deep as we did in the beginning. As deep as you can go. So we're drawing air all the way down to the base of the lungs, using the whole upper body to breathe, creating space for that air. And normally at this stage in the class, this is when you're going to be thinking about what you've got coming up next. It's one of the reasons why Shavasana is arguably the hardest pose in yoga, because your body is no longer active, so your brain just starts to take over, trying to think things to stop itself from getting bored. So just gently tell your brain, shh, and relax into it. And we're just going to do that little body scan again, starting from the feet and the toes. If there's any tension being held down there, relax it. Up into the calves and the knees, not forgetting the ankles, and the thighs and the hips, and the lower back and the abdomen, and the chest and the shoulders. And take a look at your fingers, your hands, relaxing the wrists and the forearms, and the elbow, all the way up to the shoulder. And then relaxing through the neck and the head. Breathing nice and deep. And then we're just going to go all the way back towards the toes and just start wiggling them around. Moving the feet. And then just bending and flexing the knee. Rolling the hip. And then moving the lower back. Chest, the shoulders, and the fingers and hands. And then roll the head from side to side. And then just slowly bring yourself back and come up to a seat position in your own time. So if you've made it all the way through to the end of this video, thank you for sticking with me. If you have any comments, feedback, anything like that, put it down in the comments below. I would love to hear it. And if you don't want to miss out on any of these videos, then there's the little subscribe button, and then if you click on that, it lets you click on the little bell button, and then every time I post a video, you'll get the little bell up there, will turn red, and it'll just tell you it's another video to watch. So yeah, if that interests you, click on those things. Anyway, thank you for joining me, and I will see you again soon.